Hey guys, welcome back to the Bird's Nest Schoolhouse. In today's video, we are continuing on our journey around the world with my kindergartner and first grader, and this week we are focusing on Europe. So we had a really great week learning all about Europe. We took field trips, we ate food, we read a lot of books, we looked at maps. So this video I'm going to be sharing all of our resources that we did. Just a little background on, well, first, hi, my name is Jocelyn. I am a first-time homeschooling mom to a 5- and 6-year-old kindergartner and first grader. And we are using the Core Knowledge Kindergarten and First Grade Continent Studies Exploration of the World. So in the beginning of this program, we did explore maps. We learned about where we live. We learned about how to read a map, keys on the map, the cardinal directions, and then it moved into North America, where we learned about Canada, United States, Central America, Mexico, and then last week we did South America. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. I went over a lot of the resources that we use, the reference books and things like that. So when I was looking for a geography program, more foundation of and general understanding of the world, and the Core Knowledge program really does that. So we are not using it in its entirety. I do plan to do an overview of the Core Knowledge kindergarten and first grade program itself, because if you just look at the program, it sometimes feels a little bit overwhelming and confusing. We are mainly using the readers. So I printed it off. This is completely free, but you can purchase the readers or the teacher guide offline if you want a book, but all of the information is available online for free to download. So that is what I did, and I printed it off. And so we are mainly using the readers, and then we are using also it comes with a number of activity pages. So at the beginning, we did tend to follow the teacher's guide a little bit more because it talked about, like I said, reading maps and things like that. So I was following along with the teacher's guide a little bit more, but now that we're into the actual continents, I'm pretty much reading from the readers in the morning. So we do this program pretty much 5 days a week. We just do quick map work in the morning, and then we'll do a picture book and expand from there if we want. So yeah, we just touch on it pretty much every day. For this term, we are originally from the Virgin Islands. For this term, we are in Ohio. So I'm really condensing traveling around the world into the 6 weeks that we are here, because I'm utilizing the library. We don't have a library where we come from, so I'm really loving the reference books that we can get from the library. So that is why I'm condensing this into 6 weeks. However, you could take as long as you wanted with this program. There's really a lot of opportunity to use this kind of as a base and then go from there. But this to me provides the information, like the foundation information that I want my kids to have for learning about the continents of the world. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the core knowledge books, pretty much how we start our day. And then I will share our reference books that we use for map work. And then I will share the read-alouds that we're using to kind of expand like our living books for the country or the continent. And then I will also give you a list down below of all of the extra books. So I use a website called Stories of Color, and it's a Charlotte Mason inspired book list, and you can do book lists by all sorts of, you can do it by regions of the world, you can do it by authors, you can do it by, they have a whole number of things, age range, but they give books from diverse perspectives. So they're not, your run-of-the-mill books about certain regions of the world, for example. It gives you a whole variety of different book lists. It's a really great site if you're looking for Charlotte Mason inspired different perspective book lists. So I will share a lot of those books down below, some of the things that I couldn't find at the library or didn't come to me in time, and any other resources that I forget to mention, I will put down below. The core knowledge readers. There is about 4 pages per continent. This is the first grade one. It starts with the map. The kindergarten talks a little bit about people, but it gives pretty similar information. So I tend to just combine the two and summarize, and the kids will look at the pictures. They also give you activity pages, and this is the world map, and it is used throughout the entire program. And what we will do is we will start with our map work. We will go over the continents. We will go over the oceans. There is a number of online resources that they also have links to through the teacher's guide. So at the beginning of this program, we did a continent song and we did an ocean song. And the kids really enjoyed that. So sometimes we'll do the song, sometimes we'll do the ocean song. But even if I mix up the order, the kids pretty much have their continents down now. So this is the world map for Europe. They also give you a map of Europe, so we can talk about the different countries, the different major cities, things like that, and they have a paper to reference. We don't use this one as much. We use one of the reference guides. And then also what they do is, because Core Knowledge is a full curriculum, they also give you activity pages that you can link together with, this is for their language arts program. So there are stories that you can read with their language arts program that tie into Europe at the same time. So we didn't use those, but they do provide activity pages for those. So for map work and reference, we look at this, my first Atlas of the World. If you want a more thorough flip through of this, I did it when I did South America last week, but it covers very, very gently each of the continents, which for our goal for this program is just to have a general understanding of the continents of the world, that there are different continents of the world, and different cultures of the world and things like that. So this is really perfect for what we need it for. We're not trying to get, a deep dive on each continent with this program. Just the fact that my kids can understand that there are different countries and different continents of the world. So this is Europe. We will read this very bite-sized information for an understanding. We will look at the different countries of the world, and we will actually reference, we like to reference this map of Europe instead of this one, just because this is a little bit more colorful. We also did, and if you watched my South America video, you know that I really, really love these books. These are really great books. So this is the Atlas of Europe by Picture Window Books. And again, this gives you where your continent is in the world and gives you information. Again, it gives you a breakdown of countries. This is also another map that we would reference, and then it gives you all the flags of your continent. I didn't realize this in the last one, but it also gives you famous food from your continent. It gives you the landforms, which is really interesting to look at. The kids enjoyed looking at this one this time around. It gives you the bodies of water, which we actually referenced as well because we read a couple stories with rivers in it. It gives you the climate, plants, and animals, which are very similar in maps. The population, people and customs, postcard places, which we did reference also, and then growing and making, and then transportation. So this was pretty cool because my son really loves anything mechanical and trains and cars. So he, being in Ohio, we see trains all over the place, and he just loves to look at the trains. So the fact that there's all these different train tracks all over Europe, and that's like a major mode of transportation, he really loved. Okay, and then we also learned about the Orient Express, which he thought was really cool. Now he wants to go on an overnight train. So that is our Atlas of Europe. And then we have famous places of the world, which we also looked at because, I mean, it's hard to learn about Europe without learning about the famous places. The Eiffel Tower, we referenced this one. All right, so that is our main reference books for Europe. We're gonna get on to the books that we read throughout the week. So first up, we have Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland. And we have St. Patrick's Day coming up, so I thought this would be a really perfect book. It's set obviously a long time ago, and Patrick dies. I mean, it's set a long time ago, and for some reason this really upset my son. So I think that maybe just a warning because he dies. He didn't like that he dies, but it told a story of basically, you know, how he became who he was. It also touches on slavery, and so I didn't necessarily pre-read this. I was like, oh, St. Patrick's Day is coming up, so we should read this one. I think this would be a good one to look at the pictures and maybe talk about the general idea of Patrick, but I don't know if I would read this one again. Next up, we have The Hat by Jan Brett. My kids really love this. This is set in Denmark, and all of the animals, they steal her clothes off of the clothesline. The hedgehog has a new hat because of the sock fell off the clothesline, and he goes to show all the animals of the farm, and they all think he's so ridiculous for having a hat. And then it turns out at the end, they all have clothes from her clothesline and are warmer for the winter. But it's a really cute story, and my kids enjoyed it. There is a picture of the flag in here, so they were able to go and look at the Atlas of Europe and find the flag and figure out what country it was from. So that was a nice little tie-in. Next, we had A Walk in Paris. This one is really great if you want to be able to look up different landmarks in Paris. I'm sorry, my kids are screaming. But it's about a little girl, and she goes on a walk in Paris with her grandpa, and it tells the story, and they talk about different places in Paris, but then it also gives you little bite-sized pieces of information about Paris as you go through it. So this was really nice, and I actually traveled to Paris and had a lot of pictures of myself in Paris. So after we read this book, I showed the kids, my brother and I traveled in Paris, and so I showed the kids pictures of our trip to Paris. And so that was really cool that they got to see their mom and their uncle at all these pictures that were in the book. So at the very end, this is pretty cool, is this opens, if I can get it, to the Eiffel Tower. So that's pretty cool. I enjoyed this book. We enjoyed this book. I would recommend this one. Okay, so this one was a little bit, this was Hannah's Cold Winter, and this is set in Budapest, and it's actually a true story of how they saved the hippos in World War II. I learned a lot from this, actually. It's a really nice story, and it has a lot of landmarks throughout the book. And so when we finished this book, we actually went through on my computer, and we looked up a lot of the landmarks that are in this book, and my son thought that was so cool. Like, they're pretty accurate. I mean, the pictures that you see in here look just like the pictures online. So like this one, I mean, it's almost like they have the bridge and everything. So he thought that was just really cool to kind of tie in, make the story real. But it's a really nice story, and I would definitely recommend it. All right, so next up we have Madeline in London. We did kind of spend a little bit of time on the western part of Europe, and I would have liked to have kind of gone further into Europe or Italy, Mediterranean, and bring in a picture book like that. But my son really loves double-decker buses. So I did bring this one in to read to him. And we did look at pictures after, and we learned about, you know, the horse guard, because they do bring up the horse guard. And then Of course, we had pictures of double-decker buses. And so I would recommend this, but again, I would have liked to have kind of gone further east into Europe. So I would still recommend this. Again, I probably, if I did it again, I might have spread the region out through picture books just a little bit, but we did enjoy all of, except Patrick, we did enjoy all of the books that we read this week. A couple other ones that I had for the kids to look at. This one here is Katja the Windmill Cat. And this is actually recommended by, I think, Simply Charlotte Mason, maybe, when you talk about Europe. And the reason that I didn't read this one is it's about a man and his cat, and he loves his cat. It's in a Dutch village. But then he gets married, and the woman pretty much runs the cat out. And they have a baby, and you know, the woman is like, go cat, shoo, shoo, shoo. And this cat used to be this man's, you know, darling cat. And then they have kids. And so the cat just wants to, you know, be a part of the family. And then the dike breaks in the town, and all this water comes rushing in. And my son is, this would not go well with my son. He's very sensitive. And also we've had some, like when the waves are too wavy, as he calls it, when we're back home, like he doesn't like to go near the water. So I think that this might be almost a little bit traumatizing for him, that he sees that the cat and the baby are, you know, getting swept away by this water. So I was a little surprised that this was recommended for young kids, but the cat ends up saving the baby and they love the cat again. But anyway, for a sensitive kiddo, I'm not sure this is the best one, but it does have nice pictures of Dutch villages. And so then last we have Madeline, the traditional classic Madeline in Paris. We did choose another book about Paris, so I didn't use this one, but the kids did look at this one for their pictures. So I will link the rest of the books that I had on my list of things to get from the library that didn't come in, or that they just didn't have available, because there was some really great books. So last, what we did, we will do this Monday through Friday, and then we will try and do a field trip on Friday somewhere in the city that has to do with the continent that we studied. So for South America, we went to the zoo. For Europe, we went to the art museum, and we actually saw an exhibit of Renaissance art, I believe. This was the kids' first, we do under the home picture study, but this was like the first in-person interaction with art. So that was pretty cool. They were a little overwhelmed, but I mean, it's okay. We just went, we looked at the pictures, and we did watch a YouTube video about the importance of art in Europe and its origins and things like that. So I did bring that in just so before we went to the art museum, they would have a little bit of an understanding of why we were going to an art museum and looking at European art. And then lastly, we went, because we didn't get to really touch on anything about Italy, we did go to an Italian restaurant, and that was really delicious. And we watched a cooking show about making pasta in Italy. So thank you for joining me on our explorations of Europe. Next week, we are doing Africa. So stay tuned for that video. I will share all of our references and things like that. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave it below. We are having so much fun with this program. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.